Hey everyone, Sarah at Nova again. And this week, I'm just gonna walk y'all through just a bunch of the projects we have in the shop right now. Some of them, if you watch our channel, you've seen before. Some of them you haven't, but we have our usual mix of interesting machines, and I thought we'd just talk about them. Right here we have our '65, I believe, Ducati Diana. That's been a long-term project. Has a new motor. It's been fired up, and now we are waiting on the owner has some big stash of spares squirreled away somewhere, and we need access to them before we can finish the bike. But we did an electronic ignition on that new piston, went through the top end of the motor, and should be good to go pretty soon. Another Ducati Scrambler here, 350. This is actually one of the Spanish ones, and that one is also almost ready to throw back together. Had a we needed a top end on that as well, new piston, and that one actually had a bent valve, so that's all ready to be reassembled. Head's all gone through, piston's done, and just needs the head put back on and everything put back in the frame. This 72 BSA Thunderbolt we did a piece on a while ago, and actually we sold that in-house. A friend of ours owned it. We sold it to another friend of ours, so that's going to actually get some work this winter. And the new owner wants to put an electric start on it, which I didn't even know existed for the unit twin BSAs. But there are electric start additions available for all the other older machines, like the Nortons and Velisets and BSA Gold Stars are some examples. But I didn't know that they made them for BSA, the twins. So that'll be kind of cool. This here SRX 600. This has been a rebuild. Came in with all sorts of problems. So we've had it for a season and a half now. It's basically done, sort of finalizing things and getting it out of here. But that thing is a little crazy little ripper. Kickstart only 600cc single sport bike. This is a Bonneville SE, 2013. This is owner wants to throw some money at it, loves the bike, and decided that they want to, rather than buy a new bike, they want to do some stuff to it. So we have a new brand of shocks to us. These are called No Leans. I can't plug them yet because I haven't ridden them yet, but they seem pretty cool. They're hand built to your own specs. All the specs on it are really nice, and I expect them to be really good. So we'll give you a little update on those at some point. But new shocks, we're doing a stainless brake line up front, so this thing can stop really well. And we're contemplating doing some front end work. I don't think the bike will need it, but there's some stuff you can do to upgrade that. And some fresh rubber. We haven't put the rubber on yet, but he was running Metzler's. He said it's an English bike. It needs to have Avons, and thankfully Avon is still around, so we're throwing some Avons on it. SR500, the precursor to the SRX we just talked about. This one, we're working on this one with the customer. They brought us the carb and the master cylinder first. We went through those, and now we're going to try to install those things, and hopefully it'll fire up. This is one of those things we're doing bit by bit so it doesn't run up a huge bill, and we're happy to work like that with people, figure stuff out. Fresh off the boat today's haul, it's a /2, R50/2 BMW with a sidecar. This sidecar is actually a Changjiang sidecar, which is a Chinese copy of the Ural, which is a Russian copy of the BMW stuff. So actually the sidecar Ural might have made their own sidecar, but it's all based on the original German stuff that the Russians got hold of during World War II. And this guy really likes this bike, doesn't want the non-German sidecar on it. So we're going to take this sidecar off and leave it naked for now. And if we come across a German-made sidecar, he would be willing to put one on, but may just leave it naked. Basically the bike's been sitting for a little while, so we're just going to go through it, get it roadworthy. Shouldn't need too much, and keep it going. And then a beautiful toaster tank, /5 R75. This one runs fine, has some old bike stuff. You can see weepy base gasket here. The forks are leaking here. So we're going to go through some stuff. This particular customer has a lot of BMWs, and he's in the process of sorting through them all, selling some. So each of his bikes we get in here, we decide, is this a keeper for you? If it is, we'll do everything it needs. And if it's not, we'll just, we'll do enough to make it a reasonable machine, but not go crazy on it. So these will be fun to get into. These bikes, he has given us a bunch of ones that you've probably seen in the background on these videos, as well as some recent ones we've done. And it's fun. It's fun to have somebody who really is passionate about their bikes. Workhorse here, Honda CB350. We sold this to a customer of ours this year, and they've been having a great time with it. And it being an old bike, and it being this person's first bike, there's been some issues that we're helping them just kind of keep it on the road. But classic workhorse, great machine. It's hard to go better, hard to find a better classic machine for your first one. Let's see. This is a beauty. This is in just this week. We haven't started it yet, but a Yamaha XS2. I believe it's 1972. We may want to do a whole video on this one just because this is kind of a pivotal machine. Yamaha's first big four-stroke, actually Yamaha's first four-stroke, and it was basically the Bonneville that didn't leak. 650 parallel twin, 360 crank, just like a Bonneville or just like all the Brit bikes, but overhead cam, electric start, horizontally split crankcases, didn't leak, still vibrated like crazy, but was push button reliability and a 5-speed gearbox. Imagine that. So it was one of the other nails in the coffin for just basically doing what the Brits were already doing, but doing it a little bit better. So great machine, a lot of fun. Another airhead. This one is an R100S that's been modified. We've seen this one in the background. We'll do this one in more detail. The customer owns this, wants to do a lot of upgrades to it. Olin shocks, electronic ignition, upgrade the charging system, and some other stuff to it. So this will be a fun project. We can get into the details. Already been modified. Clearly, this is not what the S looks like. If you look at our video we did on the R100S, it doesn't look like this. So somebody's already started modifying it, and we will go through it and make it reliable. Good old Bonneville, Triumph Bonneville. This one, I think we're waiting. Yeah, we're waiting on a output shaft seal on this. We've done a bunch of other things to it. Not much to say about it other than it's a Bonneville, pretty good. And then another here. This is a later Bonneville. You can tell the difference here. We have the AMAL Mark II concentric carburetors. These are much more like a Mikuni. I know that the purists will hate me for saying that, but they're a much more modern carburetor than the old AMALs that you can see on this Bonnie here, which most of the Brit bikes ran. And the Mark IIs are really an improvement. This is a 78. This is 78 Bonneville here. And it's actually, when you ride these side by side, you can see the difference. The heads are different. Carbs are obviously different. This is a 5-speed, and they disc brake and stuff. Frames are pretty much the same, but it's just kind of funny. You can tell the difference between them. This was in here for some rear brake work, and thanks to the British aftermarket, the cottage industry, you can buy a whole new master cylinder for the rear, new rear disc, new rear brake hose. All of it's off the shelf. All of it's brand new. It's really great. Classic Enduro here, Honda XL350. We had one in here before. This is a sister to it. I think this is a little earlier. Yeah, that's a 74, possibly a 75. That one's in here for some resurrection and some other work. It may be a longer term project. Just came in. And then, for something a little different, there's mopeds. For the record, we will work on mopeds, but I have to define what a moped is. A moped has pedals. Some people call us with, the Chinese scooters, and they call them mopeds, and we don't work on those. But if it's a moped with pedals on it and, basically vintage style, we will absolutely work on it. So this one is ready to go home. This one we had a little bit of ignition work and just a little bit of fiddling on the carb, and it was pretty good. It's more of a modern one. It has blinkers and stuff. It's very fancy. So inside, there's Bailey working on another moped. Hey, birdie boy. And modern Triumph waiting on a starter clutch. Parts are back ordered. This is a Honda Superhawk that somebody has maybe over-restored a little bit, chromed out everything, and we are actually stalled on this one because the front fork tube is gouged severely and we can't use it, so we're looking for a replacement CB77 fork tube. If you're out there and you have one, give us a ring. We need it. And our usual pile of Vespas over here. We've got 3. This is our small frame that we did a piece on. We actually got it all together, and it has making so much power that it started popping out of gear again, even though we'd already rebuilt it with stock stuff. So we have ordered, basically upgraded suspension, transmission for a whole new transmission, hardened gears, hardened cruciform. So we're getting a little tired of going through that thing, but it's interesting to learn all the things that can go wrong when you put power through a bike that's only supposed to make 6 horsepower. And then this guy's waiting on an engine rebuild, and this guy was seized so much. The shifting thing was seized so much. It took a lot of time of penetrating oil, heat, and eventually a little bit of force. And then we finally got it freed up, so we'll get that thing going soon too. And then stuck in here, unceremoniously some might say, is a 57 Gold Star BSA DBD 34. Beautiful, beautiful machine. Resealed the top end on this was the big job, and went through the carburetor. Had to actually change the slide to get it. We're using a concentric on this, which is not what it's supposed to have, but it's a much better, more responsive carb. Mark 1, not a Mark 2, but had to do some modifications to get it to be happy with that. And then now we're waiting on one little piece to come from Australia for that. That thing will be done. This bike we've seen before. This is our 1959 Indian, actually Royal Enfield. Customer had it. There was one of the pieces in the clutch actually broke, and we replaced that. And then the timing went out. He's not a mechanic, so it's back here for a timing adjustment. And we replaced that piece in the clutch. A little bit of test riding, and should be going home soon. This is, I think we did a video on this a year or so ago, but this is one of my favorites that we've had in recent years, the 66 Bonneville. This guy bought this bike new in 66. He flew to Europe with his buddies, picked it up at the factory, flew to England, and then toured Europe with it. And then he parked it for a long time, and we got it resurrected for him last season, and he's been riding it. So it's back here for some follow-up. But I love this color scheme. It looks like a creamsicle. It looks very 60s to me. Looks like what a Bonneville should be, which is a very simple sporting bike, but by no means a sport bike. Still have the high bars, still can tour on it. He's kept his luggage rack on it, so it's actually got some utility to it. Yeah, it's just cool. I love this thing. So I'm happy to have this back in here. I fixed some leaks on it. Now I'm just watching it to see where it's going to leak some more. Yeah, we're going to get into all the good stuff. And then finally, last week we did a video on this. This is a 67 BSA Spitfire Mark III. Since then, I've had it back off the bench. I've ridden it around. The thing runs great. And then as we do with Brit bikes, you park them for a day and you come back and see where it's leaking. So I noticed it was leaking. I missed a leak on the transmission side, so I had to go back through and really stone the sealing surfaces. There's a lot of imperfections in there. And then the forks have been leaking, and I've been chasing down, actually not the seals, but there's several different sealing points on here that whoever assembled them missed them a little bit. So kind of doing some final details on it, and then we will be firing it up and getting out the door soon. And we'll have a video of it running too, because this thing sounds amazing. So that's about it for this week. That's what we're up to. If you see anything you want to comment on, please chime in, let us know. Let's get a shot of this one right behind you before we stop. We have one more hardtail Triumph chopper in here. We've worked on this one before. This one's getting a Makuni conversion on the carburetor. Controversy. Flame away, as they say. But yeah, if you see anything you like in here and you dislike of what we're working on, let us know. And as usual, thank you for watching.